Well, welcome to the channel, viewers. Reverend Dr. J.W. Morrison, theologist, New South Wales, Central Coast, New South Wales, Australia. I want to talk to you about your partner being a mirror of you. What I mean by this is when you have established a relationship and you're building it, they want to be, if they're healthy, they'll want to be a mirror of you. They'll want to impress you. They'll want to see you smiling towards them. They'll want to see your happiness towards them. And something that blocks this is a thing called unresolved. And unresolved is a very damaging, psychologically and emotionally damaging part of life. And not many people realize how damaging it is. And not many people care about how damaging it is, particularly if they've lived a life where nobody's been accountable. That doesn't mean there's no conscience. Oh, sorry for doing this, sorry for doing that. But when it comes to the deeper, more serious things, there's a lack of resolve, particularly when it's conflictive to the authority levels in their DNA chain, domestic chain. I've noticed that a lot of single mothers swap the parental role with their children. The adult child becomes the parent, and the parent becomes a child and supplier to the adult child, because the adult child's still infantile but holds all the authority within the covert emotional incest situation, just by the way. And one of the conflicts is when you come into a covert emotional incest situation is your partner has trouble mirroring you because they're trying to mirror the child. They're trying to, the adult child, they're trying to be the surrogate wife of the adult child. And the adult child expects a certain level of emotional performance from the adult at an extra maternal level, paralleling that with an extra marital affair, an extra maternal level. It's gone beyond the normal maternal level. And same with the parent. The parent will expect a certain level of extra maternal emotional input, an extra maternal emotional submission to the supply required in the covert emotional incest arrangement. And a lot of this is subconscious. A lot of it all works in a subconscious realm, because if you hang around these people long enough, they'll actually go from covert emotional incest to overt emotional incest, and you'll see it manifesting right in front of you, which is very interesting indeed. And I could tell you stories that you would not believe. You would not believe. And I might later. But what I'm trying to say is, when you're in a relationship, you want to be impressed by your partner. You want to be psychologically, emotionally, spiritually, and physically impressed by your partner's performance towards themselves and their life, and towards the relationship and your life. But when somebody's in a split situation, you see, covert emotional incest demands the person to split, actually split their loyalties and faithfulness in a way in which the loyalty bind remains with the DNA aspect of their life, emotional, incestual aspect of their life, because that's where their security is, their identity is, and whether they admit it or not, they hope that their future is. It's just how it is, because these parents program their children to stay. And so their base emotional output is in the DNA extramaternal covert emotional incest side of their life. That's why when you're the partner of either the adult child or the parent, you will suffer emotional vandalism, psychological assault, and psychological abuse, because you're being emotionally starved. You're being siphoned. You're just a form of emotional supply. Now, I would put it this way. Extra maternal, overt supply, because she's now playing the part of a person having an affair against the person that she's in the emotional covert incestual relationship with. And this causes tremendous psychological trauma on the adult child. And if the adult child meets a girlfriend whilst it's celebrated, it's causing tremendous psychological trauma inside the parent. Now, none of them are going to admit this, but it's true. And they're constantly internally wrestling for position and purpose and a place to be in their lives. But they can't break the extra maternal loyalty bind, the bond, the soul tie that's been formed beyond the parent-child dimension. And so when there's resentment from the adult child towards the mother, because the mother's gone to see the boyfriend that the adult child don't like, for instance, that anger will be played out psychologically on the adult child's partner. If the adult child hasn't got a partner, they'll abuse alcohol, drugs, medications, and suffer from severe masturbation problems. They become guilt-ridden, shame-filled, and malfunction very fast. They feel neglected, abandoned, violated, and de-grandized. And they become very hostile and will throw enmity into it. They'll feign sickness, illnesses, and all sorts of infantile acts will go on. They'll interrupt dates. They'll have no regard for the relationship of the other person. And they'll ambush and try and sabotage the relationship for the sake of the covert emotional incest. It all looks like they're trying to protect mum, or mum's trying to protect the child, but no, they're trying to protect their passion for the adult child or for the parent, the mother, son, mother, father, daughter, etc. These people cannot afford, particularly the adult children in the early phases, to lose the supply of mummy dearest. Because mummy's boys are connected to their mother, and the mother loves it and will cherish it and will use it. And the person that the child is with, the adult child, will suffer psychological starvation, emotional starvation, which is abuse. Nobody wins in covert emotional incest. And so what I'm trying to say is, to cut it short, people in covert emotional incest will not be able to successfully mirror you because they're too split. They'll be mirroring the child will be mirroring the parent. You'll be wondering, who are they speaking to? Who are they seeing? They'll turn up with all different personalities and characters. It's, whew. And when they start turning up pissed or stoned or on medication or whatever the abuse might be, there's two things that could mean. It could mean they've had a powwow with each other on the juice or whatever it is, or there's somebody else in the mix. And that's time to immediately terminate. Immediately terminate. That's the message behind it. This is who I really am. The mask is off. It's not mirroring the relationship or representative of the relationship and the work going into it. It's representative of the unresolved and the need for a reverse discard or a discard, and the fact that there's definitely something going on outside the relationship. I'm sorry, but it's that simple. And if you get one sense that there's a violation of trust, loyalty, or an obligation to the relationship, terminate the person. Walk away immediately. Go no contact and never contact that person again. Tell them to take their stuff and everything they've got and send them away. And let them take their drugs, alcohol and medications and crap somewhere else and leave them at the mercy of their immoral behavior. If you have a purpose in life and it's way above that high school level of malaligned behavior, you have to, without mercy, execute the relationship. Leave the relationship. Don't care how the other person feels. They don't give a shit about you or how you feel. You've been used for sex. You've been used for company. There was never any intention beyond that. There was too many people involved. You've been backbitten. You've been talked about behind your back. You've been backstabbed. You've got a smear campaign going on against you. They're probably complaining to a third party, an outsider, about you. Same old story, same typical pattern. As soon as you sense disloyalty or any sense of behavior that's going to be of the betrayal kind, terminate the relationship. Terminate it immediately. Do not speak to that person unless you absolutely have to. Relative to children, get help, get therapy, get whatever you have to, and never speak to that person again. Move on with your life, come back to yourself, count your losses. You've been dealing with an abuser, someone that couldn't regulate themselves and was unable to manage resolve and boundaries. And it's never going to change, and that's how emotional affairs start, and then sexual affairs. It's a mess. Slam the door in their face. If they get the message, good luck for them, and they can use what they've learned in the future part of their life. If not, let them go on abusing themselves and their children and whoever else comes along. I'm deadly serious. Covert emotional incest, when it turns on you, you can get mental injuries in your mind that cannot sometimes be repaired. The trauma. because you are fighting against it over a long period of time. It's like you're fighting for your partner. Your relationship's triangulated. You're being violated, abused. And it doesn't stop. And you have to escape it. The more you allow the dysfunctional episodes to happen, the more you'll be told they love you because you're allowing the dysfunction to happen. But really what they're doing is laughing at you. They're laughing at you. This person's a fool. Look what we're getting away with. You're being betrayed. That's it. They think you're stupid, but you're not. I've got a whole life of experience with women, and I know exactly when things are going wrong. And you need to too. Slam the door in their face. And walk away. Reverend Dr. J.W. Morrison. Bye for now.